Ruby Cup. We are so glad to have you guys here. Please introduce yourselves.
Thank you. I am Janine and I am the brand ambassador for the Ruby Cup here in Botswana.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I'm with Janine. My name is Chandapiwa, and I work for the ARC, which is, the company that distributes Ruby here.
Yeah.
what made you want to be a brand ambassador for the Ruby Cup?
Well, I can honestly say that the Ruby Cup revolutionized my world. You see, there comes a stage in each of our lives as young ladies where we become or transition, shall I say, from a girl to a woman. And it's not a choice, right? And it can sometimes take us by surprise even. And you know, on the shelf, there are two options. The options that we know are tampons and pads.
Yes.
I happen to have a heavier flow than the average lady, but I know that there are many of us that also have heavy flows, right? And it's not something that we generally talk about, but it is real and it is something we deal with every month. Okay, so we need to actually talk about it.
Yes.
And so it was because of this slightly heavier flow that I just got so frustrated that the products on the shelf was not sufficient for me, and I thought there has to be another option, there has to be another solution out there. And I started doing research, gosh, and I was blown away when I came across this product, and I was like, this cannot be true, this is too good to be true, like where's the small print? And you know what, I took the leap, I purchased a cup, and I have never ever looked back. It has changed my world. I will not, if you pay me, go back to using tampons and pads ever again. And there are so many reasons why, and I'll tell you a lot more during this interview session.
Amazing.
It's fantastic.
Like, what exactly is the Ruby Cup?
It's basically a menstrual solution. It's a alternative solution to tampons and pads. It is similar to the tampon in that it gets inserted, but it is very different because of what it is made of. It is made out of 100% medical grade silicone, which is fantastic. It is soft, it is pliable, it moves with your body, and in addition to that, it is a lot healthier because it doesn't absorb or secrete anything. So everyone knows that down there's a natural moisture, okay? And a tampon cannot differentiate between the menstrual fluid and the natural moisture down there, nor can it differentiate between the pH level that needs to be maintained for a healthy area. So what often happens is that the tampon gets used, it gets inserted, and then it just absorbs everything, right? And then it can lead to dryness and irritation, and that could also lead to other issues. But definitely thrush is one of the big things. And this menstrual cup is remarkable because it doesn't absorb or secrete. So it literally gets inserted and it simply collects like a little cup. It just sits there underneath your cervix in the vaginal canal, and it collects, and you cannot feel it, and it moves with you. Can I tell you that the Olympic players and the Olympic participants, all the ladies use this because they have to, right? They have to be able to do high jump and swim and you name it. Like you could bungee jump with this and you will be okay. Like honestly, it is phenomenal.
No worries.
No worries.
No
like
worries.
for the rest of the
For the rest of the
day,
day.
it's a problem free.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how does this menstrual cup differ from other cups?
So there are, I think Ruby Cup was one of the first cups that came out. So they're one of the forerunners. There are many that have come after, and they're probably also great within their own right, but there have been surveys done, and the Ruby Cup has come on top throughout. So it's just a great starter cup if you're wanting to enter the world of menstrual cup. So it is you know, in my opinion, it's the way to go. But the reason, if I can be very honest, why the final decision was made on this one with my research is because of the buy one give one initiative. So Ruby Cup has this incredible initiative that they initially had it in Uganda and Nepal, but they now have rolled it out into, I think it's something like 17. They may have even, I must go look at the website again. It might even be more by now. But they essentially, what happens is they do a buy one give one initiative where for every cup that we sell, a cup gets donated to a young girl or young lady in need.
Amazing.
So yeah, so I've coined the slogan, give a girl a cup and give her a hand up, because that to me is essentially what we're trying to do here.
How long does it last again?
10 years.
10
You heard me right.
years.
10 years.
So that's literally helping a girl throughout adulthood
100%.
to not have to worry about this.
100%.
Please. How does this menstrual product differ from pads, tampons, period panties?
Well, like to add on what you already said, I think I'm gonna touch more on the environmental impact that this provides. First of all, we're disposing of menstrual products how often for every woman out there who has her periods. Now imagine instead of using those disposable products, we're using this product that lasts. Every girl probably has like one or two, and you keep those for 10 years. Like, how much have you reduced the waste production in the country?
Amazing, honestly.
That's just like one of the many on top of what you already mentioned.
Just to add on to what Chanda just mentioned, it very much, in my opinion, is a win-win-win product. And when you look at that, you almost automatically want to look at where's the small print, because it's almost too good to be true. But I can put my head on a block. It is true. I've used the cup for 7 years now, the same cup for 7 years, and it's still going strong.
Wow.
Let me just elaborate on the win. The initial win is obviously for you as the individual, because it's so much healthier. If I could just maybe take a moment to elaborate on, the tampons and pads are made out of what? Cotton. Cotton is produced in cotton fields, and they have to use a level of pesticide to obviously get the greatest amount of produce of cotton. But there's also a huge process that cotton goes through to get into the shape of then eventually being used as a tampon or pad. But in addition to that, they have to bleach those products, because think about it, if it is the natural cotton color, it's kind of off-white, and people are going to associate that with it being dirty or unclean. So the average girl is not going to look at that and go, I'm going to use that because it looks dirty, right? So now they have to go through that process, and so now this is something that you have to insert in you. So it is so much it's not that healthy, because they can't get all that stuff out completely. They do try their best, and I'm sure that but there's always a small percentage of chemical of some sort that would probably remain behind.
I heard this very interesting argument by women that you can't really be using these products in a sensitive area, because those chemicals do in a way intensify your cycle. Like they contribute to the pain, they contribute to the heavy flow.
I've been told by at least 3 of the ladies that I have sold a cup to, they struggle with quite a bit of clotting, and they said that since they've switched to the Ruby Cup, there's no more clotting. So I don't necessarily sell the cup on that basis, but definitely there have been women who have said the pain has reduced significantly. The comfort is huge. It's much better, every month. But then it's a win for the environment as well, like Chanda kind of alluded to. There's no... How many times have you gone to someone's house and it's that time of the month and there's no bin?
That's literally my biggest fear.
And you then have to wrap it up and kind of put it in your bag and just pray that your child or niece or just, someone doesn't open your bag, or you try and get something out of your bag and it doesn't like fall out.
Yeah.
You know, it's not great. With this cup, you just simply rinse and reinsert, and Bob's your uncle. You're ready to go for the next 8 to 12 hours. So it's a win in terms of the convenience and the environment, because you don't have to get rid of, you know, those things. And I loved what you said. You know, you've got these campaigns where you hand out the pads, but the truth of the matter is you helping them that month.
Yeah.
What about next month and the next month? Because you don't have a choice. You don't have a choice to either have your period this month or not. It comes naturally, and it's a gift because it celebrates us as women, doesn't it? It kind of, it's actually such a beautiful thing. But you know, when you're in a position like that where it affects your education, and it affects your what is the word, like your confidence even, because you can't go around doing what you're supposed to be doing, then that's, you know, that robs you. It robs you of a future, and it robs you of a full life. And so so this Ruby Cup will be an investment into any young lady's life, that for 10 years she doesn't ever have to walk down the tampon pad aisle ever again. You get what I'm saying?
We had a few questions that we thought might interest our listeners. So firstly, you mentioned that the Ruby Cup, it's not the same as the pads and the tampons in the way in which you dispose of it. So how exactly do you take care of all that in the cup? How do you use it? How do you clean it?
Yeah. Give your hands a quick rinse and a quick wash. And then the Ruby Cup, it's very difficult to try and describe to you what it looks like, but it quite literally looks like a goblet. It's like, but a very small one that obviously can be inserted. And it is made out of 100% medical grade silicone. And so essentially what you do is you fold it. There are, if you go on the net, there are a couple of folds that you can use. There's like the U fold and the C fold, but I prefer the punch down fold. And essentially you take the rim of the cup and you punch it down to the center. And then the kind of Ruby Cup is quite a narrow, it's literally the size of a tampon as an entrance point. And then just find a comfortable spot on the toilet or wherever. You know, you could even insert it while standing. And then essentially what you do is you insert it, and what happens when you insert it is that it literally opens up on the inside. And I always tell my ladies, do a twist and tug, a twist and tuck, and you literally twist and tuck it. And the reason for that is just to secure the vacuum on the inside. And it just, you know, it fits snugly like that, and you then wear it for 8 to 12 hours. 8 to 12 hours of problem-free, carefree kind of life as you know it. And then after about 8 to 12 hours, you can literally take it out. Now the cup has got a stem, and unlike the tampon, it does not protrude. So the tampon has a little string that usually protrudes to be able to take it out. With the Ruby Cup, it has got a very small little stem, but that should not protrude. So for women, you know, we're all different. You know, we've all got different eye colors and, you know, different size noses, and the same is true for our cervixes. And so essentially what you do is with the stem, if you have a high cervix, you're going to need the entire stem to take it out. But if you have a medium cervix, you can trim the stem a little bit. And there are women, I have had clients that have very low cervixes and they actually don't need the stem at all. But my advice is always, if there is a bit of a protrusion and there's a bit of discomfort, which would happen because it shouldn't protrude, is take a third, cut off a third, and if it's still, take another third off, and if it's still, then you take the final third off. But don't get into a position where you think that you don't need the stem and cut it all off, and then it might just, it will never be impossible to take out, but it would certainly make it a bit more tricky. And you don't want to do that to a product that you're planning on using for 10 years, right? You want to, you know, want it to last. And so it stays in for that 8 to 12 hours, and then upon retrieval, you literally pull the stem and then you pinch the bottom, the base. And the reason why you pinch the base is to release that vacuum that was previously formed. And then you just gently edge it out and you tip it out into the toilet, and then you rinse and reinsert it. It's as simple as that. And I always advise also for ladies who use public toilets, which the ladies will be doing at UB. It's convenient if you have a sink in the toilet, but not always available in every toilet, especially not public toilets. So just have your water bottle with you, right? And then just rinse it and clean it that way. I know some ladies also just wipe it with a piece of toilet paper just to kind of dry it out, but that's not even necessary. You don't have to do it. And then you fold and you reinsert, and you do that until the end of your cycle. And when it comes to the end of the cycle, that's when you sterilize your product. Okay, so what you essentially do is, I always say to the ladies, get one of those 10 pula enamel cups, you know, the ones that are really available at Knockout and Choppies and you name it. Just get one of those and then just fill it with water and boil it for 5 minutes on a stove, and that's sterilized for next month's use. And what's also great is that the Ruby Cup comes with a 100% cotton little bag, and that little bag is where you can keep it in. And so you can keep it in your bag, especially for those of us who are irregular and don't ever really know when our monthly visitor will arrive. That's really convenient because you can have it in your bag at all times, which is really, really helpful. So yeah, that's quite as simple as that. There is also a, we call it the Mercedes Benz. It's called the Ruby Clean. And if you are a high flyer and traveling a lot, you can get this also made out of 100% medical grade silicone. And this is just really convenient because it can concertina down into a little disc which you can keep in your bag and travel or do whatever with. But it's really convenient in that you can put your cup in the microwave and sterilize it for 2 minutes in the microwave on high. So yeah, that sterilization is important at the end of your cycle, but then you just keep it in your little Ruby Cup bag, and it's ready for use the next month.
So is it like a one size fit all, or are there different sizes?
Right. So there are 2 different sizes. And the one is small and the other one's medium, and that the basis of choice is really going to be majority linked to your flow. So if you've got a very heavy flow, medium to heavy flow, you'll go for the medium, and if you've got a light to medium flow, you can go for the small. And what's really fun, and I've mentioned it to you ladies in the break, is that you can choose whatever color you want, which is so fun, because you have an option of pink, red, purple, clear, and even blue and black. Yeah, so there's a lot of different options, so it makes it more fun and individual as well. I had a client in Lesotho some years back, and she had purchased a cup from me, and I'd walked her through how to use it, and she called me and she said, I am 2.5 hours away from any doctor, because she lived up in the mountains of Lesotho, and she's like, it's stuck, I can't get it out, and I don't know what to do. And she was panicking, and I said to her, just breathe, just calm down. What we forget is that it is very muscular down there. So when you tense and you panic, everything goes tight, and that's not necessarily helpful when you're trying to take something out or put something in, right? So I just said to her, just breathe, just relax. I think you've just maybe just worked up and everything's going to be okay. I said, put me on loudspeaker and I'll walk you through it. It's not a problem. Because she said, I think, okay, let me just try again. I said, okay, so you don't want me on loudspeaker? She says, no, I said, just remember to just take a deep breath. And not even 2 minutes later, she calls me back. She says, it's out. I'm like, of course it is. You were just a bit nervous. And so, and you know, and I think if you are just slightly nervous, just, I think in that moment, just take a deep breath, and it cannot get stuck. People, if you know the anatomy of a woman, if you've done biology, you'll understand that there is a cervix, and the cervix is closed. The only time a cervix opens is when you are busy giving birth, and dilation occurs for the baby to come through, and that's the only time a cervix is going to be open. Every other time the cervix is very closed. It literally is opened enough for liquid to exit, and that is it. So it cannot anatomically go up and disappear into anywhere. It cannot. A very interesting question I was asked by an educated person, interestingly enough, is she said, will it affect me being able to go to the toilet for number 1 and number 2? And if, again, you know the anatomy of the woman, you'll understand that there are two different areas. One is, where the urine exits from, and then the other is where the menstrual fluid comes from. So you could go to the toilet easily. It doesn't affect urine or a bowel movement whatsoever. It doesn't affect it whatsoever. So it's very convenient.
Okay, so how can girls out there get access to your product? Basically, where can we find you and the prices? Tell us more about that.
So you can just come to our premises in Pakalani, or better yet, for ease of convenience, you can just reach us on Facebook at The Arc, and there's a WhatsApp connected to that, and you can just WhatsApp that number or just inbox that page. Or you can just reach me at 7595-5592. Let me repeat that, 7595-5592. So you're probably wondering about the price, right? So the product itself is going for $450, but we have a student discount going, courtesy of UV Radio. Thank you for having us. So the whole of UV and all of the students, really, university students, can benefit from this. So we're selling it to students at $350.
Oh my God.
Yes, that's like $100 less.
Discount.
It is.
The conversation of periods in general is very sensitive, especially for young girls. You just started this new journey from being a child to being a woman, and it's very difficult to talk about it with your parents. So how do you go from telling your very traditional Gen X or boomer parents that, this product that worked so well for you isn't really for me anymore, and I want to do something different, I want to get with the times? How do you bring up this conversation of change with them?
Culturally, I would just encourage the young ladies to just say, Mom, this is normal, but I've heard about this product. Are you okay with me just trying it out? I mean, why are we so open to Starlink and all the other things?
Right?
I mean, technology is developing at such a pace. Why are we okay with iPhones and cell phones and you name it, all these technologies and developments, and we're kind of incorporating that into our world? But why are we stopping in this area? Why are we not looking into it? I think we need to be more open-minded. Really I don't know if you want to add to that.
To continue on that, I feel like the problem just starts from not having conversations about menstruation at all with our parents. So I think just simply broaching the subject, sometimes we look at our parents as just our parents, as just but they're women too, and they've had experiences, they've had periods. It was hard for them, it looked different for them at their time, and there was stigma. I think just opening up the conversation to be like, hey Mom, we both do this thing. Like, how is it for you? Let's broach the subject of pads and tampons. Like, how has the experience of using those things been like for you? Because I know for me, I struggle a lot, especially with pads, thrush, yeast infections. It's always a given. It's a given for me, That's why I made the switch, really. That's why it's an easy option for me, And I feel like broaching those subjects, any parent who loves their child and who can relate on such a personal level, our mothers really, fathers, I can understand the disconnect with mothers, I think the relation in this experience can really open up, the opportunity to feel free to explore, yeah, so I think just taking the brave step of just like, hey, I want to talk to you about my periods. I want to talk to you about how these products are for me, this experience has been for me, my fears, my concerns, you know, what I want. And then I want to tell you about this product that I just discovered and how it feels, you know. Hey, mommy, you can try it too.
Exactly. Right?
You know?
It's never too late.
Right.
Yeah.
And as a parent, it's so important to create an environment where your
Safe
child can
environment.
just
Mm-hmm.
come to you and talk to you
100%.
about
Yeah.
this. You know, I'm scared to try it out, but
Yeah.
my mom is here to support me. And,
Exactly.
you know, she can talk me through it. She can help me get comfortable. So, yeah, this is such an important topic to have.
It
Even
really
for
is.
us, you know, we're still young. We're in like our 20s.
Yeah.
So this is like a chance for us to also transition and
100%.
just sitting here with you guys and hearing all of this. It's making me more comfortable with the idea.
Right?
You know,
Yeah.
try things out, try something different. So yeah, that's really awesome. And we touched up on how to clean the cup earlier. But so one cultural thing about Botswana is we do love to clean things thoroughly. We'll take soap, we'll take like a scourer, we'll take sponges. Is
get
it
you.
advised to like take Sunlight dish soap and say, I'm gonna clean this cup? Is that okay? Or
Honestly, I think if you're going to be investing in a cup that is going to last you 10 years, you obviously want to get your 10 years from the cup, right? So you must know that if you're going to use kind of soaps and detergents and some kinds of products, definitely don't use a scourer. You will, you know, it's a product that doesn't require that. If you are a little bit nervous, then use hot water to rinse it out, like really, really warm, like warm to hot water. If you feel a little bit like that's going to clean it a bit better, then go for it. But my advice is, for the longevity of your product, just normal tap water is absolutely a-okay. It's not complicated.
Addresses safety concerns,
Yeah.
because now if you use detergent, now chemicals,
100%.
Exactly.
100%.
So
You don't
that-
want to insert that stuff in you,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly.
You want to get away from that.
Yeah.
You know, there's so much chemicals and stuff in our food as it is, processed food. We want to veer away from that, and this does that. It gives you that opportunity. You know, so yeah, by all means, H2O, good old H2O.
Yeah.
The cup retails at $450, which might be like, oh, that's a lot of money. But if you think about it, you take 450 pula, and it lasts you 10 years. How much is that a year? You just 450 divided by 10. That's 45 pula a year, people. So that's kind of what you pay a month for your menstrual products as it is at the moment, if not more. But we have a very special offer to all UB students, where we are giving you a 100 pula discount, and we are offering you the cup at 350 pula only. And if you work that out, that is 35 pula per annum and less than 3 pula a month. I mean, what can you buy with 3 pula? I mean, it's like a no-brainer, really. So it is an investment into your comfort, your health, your future. It is such an investment, ladies. It really is worth every single tebe for the next 10 years. You don't even have to walk down the tampon and pad aisle. Just think about it. How much money you're going to save, you know.
Yeah.